and Joe are really excited to have been given the opportunity to do this at the radio project, which is at the Grey Horse building. Now, the reason we're doing this is to make it a bit more of a friendly discussion, you know, bring it a bit more down to earth, but we're going to cover a lot of different topics during the podcast today. Obviously, we have the usual. We have Dave, Pete, Stuart, Louise, and Amanda will be joining us later on in the podcast. So to start off, we have some of the clients at the radio project that would like to ask some questions. So, Sam, would you like to ask the first one, mate?
Yes. Can you please tell us a bit about the pop-up shop that has just opened recently?
Take it away.
Yeah, I can pick that one up. So, pop-up shop. So we go back to November last year. Helen White, who's on the board of Pure Innovations, dropped me this message and said, there's this pop-up shop unit in Stockport. I think you should have a go at it. So, brought some of the team together. So, Alan, Michelle, Reese, the art facilitators, and some people from Rochdale and Oldham. And we started working on some products for the shop, which opened on the 12th of April. So it's been open and traded 7 days so far, and it's already taken £1,600 in those 7 days.
Ooh.
So it's done brilliant, like proper brilliant.
We're my dad's money now.
Feedback from the public has been great about some of the stuff our clients have made. So there's everything from bread in there, ceramics, woodwork, arts, crafts. It's been fantastic. Brilliant success, and hopefully we will do it again, all being well, at Christmas time.
How long is it open for?
So it's open till the 30th of April, so you only get 3 weeks. Now there's a charge from to use the space for the 3 weeks, and we've already earned more money than it's cost us to use it. So best thing about it, though, beyond the money, is that our clients' stuff that gets made in our projects is on sale and people get to see it. Spreads awareness of ours. Yeah.
I wish it would open permanently.
Well, do you know what? You never know.
Yeah, you never know. I'll tell you what, I ever made them hot cross buns that I got the other day when I was going shopping.
Oh yeah, you
Ten-
said they were good.
Oh mate, they were 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, I couldn't believe it. Maybe you can make them next time for me, Sam, when you're in the kitchen.
I asked them if I could go on there, but they put my name down.
That's nice then.
Maybe next
Good
time
on you.
it doesn't open again.
But I only want to do it after part-time now.
Fair enough. Good lad. Right, Chris, so you have a question to ask?
Do you think things are getting better with COVID?
So I assume Pete would like to speak about this.
Do I think things get better? I think they're improving slowly. Yeah, I think there's been some changes recently, which I'll touch on in a little bit further on in the podcast. But I think things are certainly more relaxed. People are being now told not to test unless you have a health condition which has been identified for treatment. So I think the ways we're probably starting to live with COVID a little bit more. I think some people might still be a little bit anxious or nervous about COVID. So it's not mandatory to wear masks anymore, but as an example, if people feel comfortable in masks, they can do that. But I think as a society, I think a lot of things are back to normal, you know, going to the football and concerts and crowds and supermarkets. I think we're slowly getting there, and I think there'll probably be changes afoot again, kind of in another kind of 3 to 4 months' time, when things will probably get a little bit easier again.
Brilliant. And Nick, I know you had something you wanted to ask as well, didn't you, mate? So do you want to find a microphone? Maybe if you just lean over here, have a little gander at that one there.
How are the cafes doing?
Now, I assume you, Dave, want to speak about that?
Right, I'll pick that as well. So, from March 2022, from the 1st of April 2022 till the 31st of March 2023, the cafes have had the best year in the history of our cafes within Pure Innovations. So, before any deductions of VAT, if you put all of our cafes together, so Etherall, Vernon, the Boathouse, contributions from the bakery and the windmill, and a bit of Southway, the cafes have done over £1 million.
Wow.
That's expensive.
Which is a phenomenal bit of money. So big credit goes out to Rob and his team. Obviously Jen, who looks after Etherall. You've We've got Jill, who looks after the boathouse, who's had like the best year in the history ever. You've got Nicola, who's just gone to Vernon, Carol for the windmill. What's interesting about the windmill is it's only open Monday to Friday. So it doesn't do any weekend stuff, doesn't do any kind of late evenings or anything like that. And it's smashed its budget proper. So it's been a great year. What's interesting in kind of from a learning point of view is when the budget was set for 22-23, in conversation with Stuart, we'll touch on it probably shortly, is that Stuart set the budget. And I didn't think we would do it because I thought, oh, I'm not sure we'll do this. Which proves the finance director clearly knows much more about money than I do. So yeah, it's been a phenomenal year in the cafes and a great piece of work by Rob and his team.
Was it open on the Easter bank holidays, did you say? Or
It was, yes.
April,
Yeah.
Oh, mint.
Yeah.
I bet that was nice then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The sun out and everything.
Oh,
It's a nice place. We used to go there, didn't we?
Where?
Quite a bit before Pure and realised it was a project.
What, Etherall?
Etherall, yeah.
Oh, many
Many
times.
times,
The amount of
yeah.
times I've seen that duck pond's unreal. Right, so that's all the questions that we've got from the clients. Now I think we should probably get started on the nice, important topics. So I suppose we'll start with you, Dave, or who would like to kick it off as someone would like to talk about the first ever national supported internship day. Is Louise claiming it now?
If I don't claim something, I'll have nothing to talk about. So, yeah, all right, I'll take this one. So, yeah, if anybody is following us on our social medias, which will be our Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, you'd have noticed that we absolutely flooded it for that week. It was National Supported Internship Week, and we've got 10 sites across Greater Manchester with young people whose aspiration is to work. So the government have invested a significant amount of money between now and 2025 to increase the number of people with a disability, young people going on to supported internships, ultimately with the view to go into paid work. So we have got 2 definite new sites opening this September, in addition to the 10 that we've already got. One in Stockport, with Stockport Borough Council being the host employer, and the second one in Trafford with Trafford Council. There's also talk around Bolton, who are also interested in delivering a supported internship site. And I was just over earlier on today at the Wythenshawe site, and it is great to see the young people who are just in their second rotation of placements actually talking about how at first they were really nervous about going on placement, but how they're really enjoying the diversity of what Wythenshawe Hospital has to offer in relation to work placements, and already talking about the kind of work that they would like to do based on the 2 rotations that they've already had. Pure have a really good success rate in our internships as well. So pre-COVID, because COVID it took a dip obviously, but pre-COVID we were 70% of young people that were on an internship site securing permanent paid
really
work.
impressive.
It's a big
Yeah.
number
Really
as well.
impressive.
It is, and
It's nice to hear.
and I think for a lot of employers, when you talk about employing a young person with a disability, they don't really know what that means. And it can make them a little bit nervous over what that actually entails. Is going to be really time consuming for us. Do we have to put loads of work into it? What about health and safety? Health and safety still gets mentioned today. But actually, when they start working with some of the young people that we've got, they realise, actually, this is really easy. And if we are not careful, the young people, certainly in Stockport, we need to ensure that the talent keeps in Stockport as well. Because what we're seeing is a lot of people are actually moving into Manchester. And we don't want that talent moving out of Manchester. We want to keep the talent within Stockport. So Stockport is a great place to live and to work. So
It's just been voted the best place in Manchester to live.
there's a lot of regeneration going on in the area, isn't there? So
Well,
that doesn't surprise me at
That
all.
massive investment that we got, didn't we? It was like £1 billion
Yeah,
or
£1
something
billion
like that.
station and
Stockport.
everything.
You can
Yeah.
tell.
It's on
Yeah.
the uprise.
Yeah. Well, you see cranes everywhere, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, there's great potential going on, and I have no doubt that the ambitious target of doubling the numbers of supported internships across the UK now Obviously that isn't our ambition, but we will be a part of that story and just make an impact in a number of young people's lives.
Good.
Oh, amazing.
Sounds excellent. Now, I know you've already touched on this, Dave, but obviously the pop-up shop and the cafe performance, is there anything else that you'd like to add, or do you think that you've covered most of it already?
I don't think it's covered to
I
it.
was going to say, we spoke about the numbers and how well the pop-up shop's doing.
I just think it's been a great opportunity to highlight our clients' work.
Yeah, yeah. It's been
Showcase what can be achieved and what can be created, and if it serves one purpose alone, and actually, somebody goes into that shop and they buy something to be by somebody with a disability, and it makes them think about things in different ways, or changes someone's opinion about what can be achieved or done by someone with a disability, and it serves its purpose.
A lot of it's come from Vernon, has it not? Like a lot of the products have come from Vernon.
Vernon,
From that
some
creative
from-
hub and
Yeah,
Lego were
older.
excited.
yeah, Lego
excited
were
when
excited as well.
We gave a few projects to it. Gives them something to work towards as well, don't they? Showing it off to other people.
There's a guy in Rochdale, I can't remember his name, Dave, do you know his name, who makes those, the teddies?
Nathan.
Nathan, oh my goodness. So when I was last in Rochdale, he makes these fantastic teddies that are then sold. They're really, really nice. Lots of really vibrant colours. And I can't tell you the speed he's working at. Whilst I was at the pop-up shop, somebody came in and bought one of the teddies. So it is a bit of a mix of,
Yeah.
we've got loads of talent right across Stockport, Rochdale and Oldham, so it's a real blend of our clients' work and being able to showcase it. Again, it's talking about the talent and being able to showcase what our clients are certainly capable of.
They're amazing at it as well, some of the things they do.
Yeah,
And what time does it close?
So it opens at 9, closes at 4.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
so-
Nathan's made 10 draft exploders, and this one person's come back and bought all 10.
Oh, really? Quite interesting. Oh, wow.
He's got amazing skills, Nathan.
Yeah.
Got to make sure they keep the Freddie Mercury stuff in the back so you don't come out and just put it all on the first time you see it.
Yeah, I've already spent a lot of money on that.
Right, so that's spoke about. So, I mean, as well, Pete, you've spoke about COVID changes already, but is there anything else that you'd like to add on to that?
I think it's just a shift really. I think it's a shift of staff who've been great following the risk assessments that we've had in play and taking lateral flows and things like that. But obviously we've followed government guidance since it happened back in 2020, I think it was, and we will continue to follow it. And that basically means now, unless you have that health condition which you would receive some type of hospital treatment for, you don't test. And I think that is the way of COVID being relaxed, and they actually kind of don't recognise it just as COVID now. They recognise it as a respiratory infection, which may be kind of COVID-19. So they're kind of badging it up with cold and flus and that type of stuff really. So I know there's some staff who will be happy with that. I'm sure there'll be some staff who are nervous about that. But
It's kind of mad when you think about it, though, for how prominent it was, and now you don't even have to test. I actually didn't know that
yeah.
until today. It's
So,
relaxing, isn't it? It's reassuring.
Yeah.
The masks when they stopped, that was strange.
Oh,
But they
people
were
don't
the
know.
mask on.
Been like a few years, but yeah.
Life's moved on, so it's just a change really. If someone does test and they go, those tests won't be accessed by a Pure. If they went and purchased their own test and they were to tell us they tested positive, that would then lead to a different set of circumstances. But the government guidance says you don't test.
Brilliant.
So, yeah.
And obviously you wanted to talk about some IoT queries as well.
I
So-
do, yeah. IT, health and safety and everything else is all the exciting topics. Can't beat a bit of COVID. So IT, so yeah, technology, I think we've come a long way in the past 12 months with technology as a business, Bright HR, POP, the health and safety app and things like that. So the next stage really has been for us to get a list of all our assets, so all our laptops, all our kit that you use, or across the whole entire business for staff and clients and everything like that. So we can actually see what we've got. We can see how kind of old things are and do they need replacing, and kind of monitor spend for Stuart and all different types of things really. So I think we've got something like over 600 items out and about. And obviously people from time to time have issues, and there's a couple of different ways of dealing with that. You can ring Callum on us, or you can send an email to the IT team. So what we've done now is created a form within the health and safety app which will allow you to submit your query that way, and you'll be able to choose the piece of kit you've got an issue with, or just send a general query. Why are we doing that? Well, that's because we love IT, and we'll be able to monitor things on the back of it. So we'll be able to monitor how long things are taking us to deal with. Is there problem kit that we're always having issues with? Is there common themes to fixing things and all that type of stuff? So we're becoming a little bit more independent away from ASL, who are a company who've supported us with our IT for many years. And I think it will just kick us on a little bit further in terms of our IT team, investing in them, and yeah, getting a bit more tech savvy as a business.
I mean, we had Callum here a few weeks ago, didn't we?
Yeah, a couple of laptops needed
We had
updating.
6 laptops that we thought we had an issue with. He's came here in about 15 minutes.
It's fabulous.
I don't know how he reads it. It comes up on screen and you're like, what? It's like binary code. It's not my forte.
No, I fixed it all in about 15 minutes and I went, done now.
Done now, see you later. Goes off, get some lunch, goes home. Right, now Stuart sent me and Joe quite the list, so I don't know whether this is going to be shared out between everyone, but yeah, there's quite a lot to cover here. So obviously I've got here to start the financial year.
Yeah, okay. For those of you, by the way, who are in any doubt, I do know more about money than Dave.
Without doubt.
It's all right, Dave.
Yeah, going to kick off by just looking at how we did last year. So that's a year that's just ended, the end of March. And we bettered our turnover and we bettered our profit. And there are 4 main reasons why we did that. So one, we've already touched on, which is the cafes and the great performance we had there. Second one is the fact that we've got more clients into service, particularly in Stockport, on great projects like this and ones that operate in this building. Thirdly, we've won additional work in the likes of Manchester and Bury. And fourthly, last by no means least, is the fact that we've got the college started up in September. And other folks are going to be talking more about the college, but we did manage to be successful in getting that approved at the first time of asking, and only 50% of organisations managed to achieve that. So that was a very laudable achievement and laudable stuff that we want to celebrate. So those are the 4 main reasons for this last year.
Yeah, and then obviously these were most of the topics you've got down here. Was the growth in pure support. Like you said, there's a lot more clients coming in, which even I've noticed. I've noticed the groups are getting a bit bigger, especially Tuesday's group that are here is a lot bigger now. Getting introduced. I met a lovely lad yesterday who came to Lego. He's looking to start here. He went round Brinnington as well. Really.
Oh no, I think
Really nice lad. But yeah, then obviously I don't actually know too much about the college, to be honest, because I know about the holiday service and stuff. So take it away, Louise. Go for it.
I'll only just fill a little bit of space until Amanda comes. So the college started in September. Started off with 12 students, and the idea at the time was it was going to be a pre-supported internship. So it gives students a year to prepare before they go on to an internship, in making them kind of more work ready, more independent, and more ready to actually go into the world of work. We've got 12 students today. They are a fab group of students, and they are really enjoying the learning in the college, which is based at the mailbox, which is on the A6 in Stockport, right opposite McDonald's. And we chose the mailbox because it's clearly a very professional working environment. So the college classroom is situated with a dozen other small businesses, which has added additional value to the richness of what we're able to deliver, because all of those businesses have come in and spoke about their industry, their type of industry. We've been able to access 2 work experience placements for all of those 12 students. All of those in that first year have been within Pure, so in our cafes, on our park warden projects. So it's been great that we've been able to access already the provision that we've got in Pure. The however is, we always intended to build a supported internship for this September. The demand and the belief that we feel the students that we have got a little bit more to learn, a bit more growing. to do and more exposure to levels of independence around travel training and the world of work, we have decided that we will do a 2-year study programme around independent life and work. So 10 of those students that are in our current 12 will go on to a second year, and then we'll have another 12 that will come into a year 1, and then we will have a supported internship in addition to that. So we are over doubling the size of our college in less than 12 months, which is to meet the demand that's out there. We have got over the next 5 years an increasing, growing number of people that are going to be diagnosed on that autistic spectrum, and people with disabilities that will meet the SEND provision and be entitled to an educational healthcare plan, which means that the demand is going to be great, not just in Stockport but across the UK. This is an increasing swell of people that are going to need additional support. So we're there to meet a demand, and we've been responsive to that demand. So we've got 28 places for this September. So I know the college are working really, really hard to recruit teachers, to ensure we've got enough classroom space, and to work with the local authority and other employers across Stockport to ensure that the students have enough placements and work employment opportunities.
That's amazing.
Excellent.
It's already grown.
I was going to say, it sounds great. It doesn't surprise me, though, to be fair.
No, it doesn't surprise me in this
Like I
life.
say, it's a really good opportunity. It sounds brilliant. Now, moving on, correct me if I'm wrong, Stu, we were to talk about the GMCA contract.
Well, yeah, what I wanted to do is talk about this next year and what the prospects are. We prepared the budget for year ending March 24 a couple of months ago, and that had a growth in turnover of just over £1 million, and the likelihood is we're going to beat that. And there are 3 big reasons why business is growing. One is to do with the GMCA contract, so GMCA is standing for Greater Manchester Combined Authority, and we've been delivering in 5 parts of Greater Manchester for the last 3 years, and the contract's been extended for 18 months through to the end of September 2024. And what's happened is, in addition to the 5 areas I've already covered, we're also now working in Manchester, Trafford, Bolton, Salford and Wigan. And that's the first time we've really worked in Wigan as a company. So that's great to be covering the whole of that patch. Second reason for growth in turnover is about the college, which we've just already touched on. And one of the third ones is our growth in our mental health and contracts in that area, which has included an IOT contract with the National Health Service. That's the first time we've got a National Health Service contract in Pure, and we're already beginning to see growth and potentials for other areas in working in and with the NHS. So that's a really exciting and important aspect of our work.
Brilliant. Right, so in terms of my list, that is all that I've got, is I was going to touch briefly on the radio project in general, since while we're here anyway, and all I wanted to mention was like how, I don't know if people know too much about the works going out, because obviously most people know about the radio show, but the YouTube channel now has started to become more prominent in the work that we do. Just in case anyone doesn't know, it's called One Voice Radio and Media. Like the equipment we're using right now for this podcast, the whole room, it's radio's had a massive rejig as a project in general, and we've been lucky enough to have a nice budget to get all this stuff, because it's really made a difference to the work. So if anyone is interested in some of the interviews that we've done, Joe here does a weekly podcast on a Monday with all the clients, and they talk about loads of interesting stuff. It's brilliant. And I mean, Reese is sorting out a lot of good interviews for us over the next couple of months as well.
He's already I think he's on his way to doubling his aim for the year. I think his aim for the year was 10.
Yeah, and
he's
he's
already on 13.
he managed to do 10 in a month until we realised we couldn't do 10 in a month because that's just too much. That's just like an overload in my head. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that in general. But is there while we're waiting for Amanda, is there anything else that anyone can think of off the top of their heads to talk
Have you
about?
got any questions for us? I mean, you've got the corporate scene sat here.
Yeah, I do that. No,
What,
you know.
what questions would you want to ask the corporate team if you kind of?
Should have thought about this.
There's so many people screaming right now listening to this.
Yeah, no, just say that. What's that? What's this? Just screaming. Yeah, you know what? I've been so focused on this, I've not even thought to even ask.
No, we've been looking at all the equipment.
Yeah, we're in all the equipment, making sure it doesn't fail, and then we didn't even use the cameras in the end. We might, but we'll probably will next time.
Go on,
Yeah.
could be anything.
Once sorted. Give you anything.
Go on.
Could be absolutely anything.
Yeah, we'll edit it out.
Well, he's
Favourite projects to go to.
oh yeah.
Oh gosh. Oh my
Or
Lord.
it was like your baby, like your
Yeah,
baby.
which one
Like
do
which
you-
one would it be?
love?
Don't ask Dave that question, okay? Because, you know, on a postcard too, we know what that one is. There isn't, I hate to say that, there isn't a favourite because
That's fair enough.
it's not just about what the project activity is, it's people that are in it.
Yeah.
And wherever you go, there's always fab people that are getting involved and are dead keen to tell you about what they've been doing in the project. But we're also very blessed by it. We have got amazing staff at Pure. Like you guys, sat in here. I'm not just saying that, but sat in here and actually running really great projects. And they're just nice places for people to be and to spend time, to learn new skills, to meet friends. Friendship's really important.
Yeah.
Feeling that they've got a purpose and something to do. The fact that they're learning along the way, you know, it's great. So I don't have a favourite. Does anybody else have a favourite that they want to go to? Dave, do not mention paper.
No comment.
No comment. No.
What's yours? The bakery.
I have.
Well, I like them all. I love the projects, yeah. So I love the wood shack in Oldham, that's great. Creative Hub in Oldham's great. But obviously you've got Vernon, you know, that goes on there. You obviously got all the stuff that goes on here. Some of the animation downstairs is immense.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Actually, even in Prospect House, if you walk through Prospect House, some of the stuff that happens in the kitchen is brilliant. Some great smells come up there and flows upstairs.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to work sometimes in that animation room.
It is, especially when Michelle's in there,
Oh.
whipping up.
She's amazing.
Oh, it's just I can't deal with it.
And the art room at the very bottom past Kerry's office, there's some amazing stuff.
Yeah, the
It's
dragon.
made by Val and Pat and
Val's
Robert
recent
Clark.
piece that I saw was
It's
great.
immense.
Yeah.
But I have to see the bakery.
I have to see the bakery.
I will rock up there at 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning sometimes just for fun. And go into Louise's office with flower-based shoes, no one told me.
About you, Pete?
Yeah, what about you
Do you have a-
guys?
do you have a favourite?
No.
No.
I know, so I came from Pure Support, so I love it all. I think at the minute, the thing that I've probably got most admiration for at the minute is the likes of the mental health, IACT, and the IPS and SE teams, and I have no idea what those abbreviations stand for. I've told people to stop abbreviating to me. They're dealing with some really complex stuff, and I've spent a lot of time this morning looking at some risk assessments. So I think, yeah, there is some really challenging things going on in relation to the clients we're supporting their mental health, and that's across Pure Support as well, another project. So I think, yeah, projects are great, but I think there's a lot of teams out there dealing with some really heavy.
I think you're right, and we've it's a common theme that has been spoken about in right across the third sector, that they are starting to work with people that they would never have actually come to be working with. They will be going straight to adult social care or mental health services, real complex family situations as well. And I know that you've been involved in some really challenging safeguarding and navigating your way through it. It does take not just one person to make decisions, it takes a number of people to be part of working through some of the complex safeguarding. So yeah, there are some real challenges that people are dealing with on a daily basis, and I love and hate social media with
Yeah, it's great.
Same.
it's great when it's great, but I tell you what, it is when people are not able to navigate that safe space, in a safe way, it is absolutely disastrous for so many of our clients, and that is what we're finding on a regular basis.
Yeah.
They are finding themselves in situations without really understanding the consequences of the stuff that they're looking at.
Yeah.
So it's a really important issue. I know it's a big issue, but it's a lot of safeguardings are attached to the internet and social media.
It's something that needs to be picked up in schools and colleges, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Where it's this education.
It's part of the curriculum. It has to. It's mandatory now. It's part of the curriculum. We have to teach it keeping safe online. So it is part of it. But I also think in Pure, what you'll have is some people that have been here a long time that wouldn't have necessarily been brought up with social media and the digital world that we're in now, that are finding how they navigate it and keep safe online is very difficult. So is that part of our responsibility to do some of that? Part of home? Is it part of individuals? You know, it's a real thing that we can't get away from, and that world will just get bigger and bigger. We've got IA that's come in now, haven't we? And all of that, and the challenges that it brings with the opportunities that it brings. So there are big stuff out there that I think are.
We've run into social media issues at this property and other ones as well. But we found what helps is sticking rules all over the wall.
Yeah, the rules have been important for this project especially. Yeah, I mean, one major thing was like we've stopped movies in here because it was causing illegal websites were being accessed and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
So that's been banned. YouTube, you can have it at lunch, but not really any other time unless you are doing some research. But yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why projects like this have become better. Because they're a lot more, I feel like they're learning a lot more. No, I've got like James on a Tuesday, he started doing his own editing now. Nick does a lot of his own work as well, he was in before. There's loads of different stuff going on, which is brilliant.
Yeah, no, there is.
And is this Amanda? Yay!
So, welcome, Amanda.
So if there is anything else.
I won't tell you about my trials and tribulations of getting here, so I do apologise.
It's okay, no, good timing.
We've got a really important question for you.
Yes.
Excellent, go for it.
So,
Just before
Go on, do it.
now this is the first time I've seen you, but they're having a bit of a back and forth about what colour your hair is. What hair colour would you class it as?
What now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm hoping it's red, but you might say orange, but it's supposed to be red.
Right. Did anyone say red?
More red.
Black?
Yeah.
Black? No. Black?
It is.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Is it red and black or is it red and brown?
Red and very dark brown is what the box says.
Oh.
Oh wow.
I can see some. We'll have to give it the reason.
The box is lying.
Right. So everything on there has pretty much been spoken about. But if there is anything else that you can find, then please feel free.
Shall we ask you a question, Mandy? So I've touched a little bit on the college and the growth of the college. I wondered if you wanted to talk about the breakfast meeting that we had this morning at the college.
Yeah, absolutely. So, first of all, I'd say it was a great success. So, you know, when you have that moment, panic in the morning, hoping that someone might turn up, well, the room was full. And we had some really fantastic representation from an array of professionals in the room, from Stockport Council, education providers, different colleges as well, and NDTI was there as well. So, from a PR event for the college, it was incredibly successful. In regard to partnerships, I think that we will get even more support now around placements for our young people, referrals for the right young people joining the college as well. But just for Pure College, because we knew the biggest aim, if you like, of the day was just getting people to know who we were and what we do and why we do it. And I think that was achieved. So really happy.
Amazing.
Came away buzzing this morning. So
It's a great feeling when something
Yeah.
goes well, isn't it?
it really was. I had a class
That
on,
is
so that's a
good.
bit of a bonus, isn't it?
That interview yesterday, I remember. Fingers crossed for that interview yesterday.
Yeah.
Hoping it would go well, and it was amazing.
Yeah, I don't think any of them have been.
Oh, they've all been
I
spot
think
on.
they've all been
All been
brilliant.
spot
haven't
on.
they?
Yeah.
I really like the one with Gavin. You know, Emma's husband.
Oh, gosh,
Emma Williams'
yeah.
husband.
Yeah.
Gavin on the wall. That interview was brilliant. And then one thing, actually, this is one thing I would like to speak about is trips.
Yes.
Now, I don't know any of this logistics or stuff, but for an example, we had Michael Powell come in a couple of weeks ago for an interview, and he runs a section at the Manchester Museum called, what's it called? It's on the wall in there, like Nothing About Us Without Us, and all four of the curators all have disabilities, and they've come together and made a really good section in the museum. And I know I was really keen on getting them guys to go down and have a look, because he was like, yeah, bring them all down, we'll do it for you, whatever, and we'll have a good time. Do you think that trips will become a part of it again? Because I know COVID stopped it a bit. Do you reckon that'll be...
Because I've heard it from, I know Lego have been asking for trips, whether it's to Legoland or...
or bowling or Pizza Hut.
Oh,
Pizza Hut tends to be the one I hear the most. Let's go Pizza Hut.
I have heard it from a few different...
But yeah, do you reckon that trips will become a thing? Or?
Yeah, I mean, there's one already booked.
Oh, is that?
Brilliant.
Oh, amazing.
Absolutely, we just paid the deposit for it yesterday. So yeah.
Where's it going, that, Stuart? I know I kind of said, what's that on the spend, and they said, oh, it's the deposit for the coach for the trip, but I didn't ask where they were actually going. Do you know? No. I think what we need to do with is we need to identify funding stream, i.e. how are they going to get paid?
Yeah.
So I definitely think that needs to be identified. And then I think we could do with, and we did do it actually, Emily started working on this pre-COVID, like an annual calendar. So everybody gets kind of a consensus as to how many we're going to do a year, how much they're going to cost, and where's the money coming from, and then is it something that people want to do. So making sure we've got our clients that are fundamentally involved in saying this is where we want to go. So I think there's a bit more work to be done in regards to that. So it's not a no-no, it's just, clearly, I would imagine it's Emily that is organising this trip, but I think maybe map it out, and we do need to know where the money comes from, because they can be quite expensive.
Yeah,
of course. No, definitely.
Okay.
Now, I only have one more question, it's for you, Dave.
So,
you know what? I didn't have any questions when I was put on the spot before. I've got loads. So, I like to feel like I can read a man's facial emotions and the way that he talks. So when Sam asked you before about making the pop-up shop permanent, he gave a little bit of a twaddle with your eyes and went, oh, maybe. Does that mean anything, or is that undisclosed about it, maybe a permanent shop opening at some point?
I think there's some further discussions to be had between the five of us.
well read as well. I think I did see a bit of
What it gives us is it gives us a platform to be able to demonstrate what can be achieved.
Yeah.
And then if the money's right and the figures are right and the premises are right, what then could be achieved beyond that.
Yeah.
So
it's in a nice location.
Work in progress, I would
It's
say.
a really nice building. The pop-up shop, it's
been
dead
a few
white.
places, hasn't it, as well?
Yeah, it's dead white and clean. And
It's all Kath Brooks' fault. So about 5 years ago, she's been becking my head in Louise's about pop-up shops and stuff like that, and our own shop. 5 years ago, we probably weren't ready. Now we are ready. You can see that by the stuff that we're selling. So we've come such a long way. This is a taster and a tester to say, can we do this long term?
Yeah.
So I would say it's potential.
Brilliant.
I mean, I've seen the growth, and I've only been here for just over a year, I think now, and I've seen the growth in different projects. You know, like you were saying before, they have clients as well.
That Tuesday, because it's rammed. Brilliant.
It's got a lot busier.
But yeah.
Can I ask a couple of questions?
Please, I was just about to say.
So, I've got two questions for you, Amanda. So, you have now been promoted to Director of Learning and Development. Well done. In relation to development, so is there anything on the horizon that we are currently, or we know is coming up on the horizon that we are going to be bidding for?
So at the moment, the things we've done this month is we've re-tendered for the STEP programme, which is with Manchester Adult Education, and we'll find out the outcome of that hopefully by Monday. There is obviously the national investment from the Department of Education for supporting internship. So have you touched on that a little bit? So we're talking to Trafford, Bolton and Stockport around the growth in that area, so it's a fantastic opportunity for us. We're also looking at GMCA around other employability services that Dave's been heavily involved in around expanding IPS and supporting employment. That's kind of where we are at the moment. What I would say is we're constantly looking at what other opportunities could come our way. I think it's a twofold really. One is around looking at what is core business, what are we already doing, what do we do well, but then also being open to kind of innovative ideas around other contracts and considering what is the next thing for us. Because obviously education has been the big investment the last couple of years, but I think it's about getting our heads together, and business development is everybody's role, so it's about bringing ideas forward to us as well.
And in the final question for me, Amanda, in your new role, any surprises? How have you been able? Actually, do you want to answer that? Don't really know if I should have asked you
Was I moving my eyes there like Dave before?
Right.
Well, the first surprise was being late today, so again, allow me to apologise. I had to go and clock in my diary and find it, so I am here now. So.
Maybe that's amazing.
What I would say is I'm really excited about the opportunity. I think that a lot of people hopefully know me at Pure. I have been around for a long time. I actually had a look and I joined Pure in 1999. So if you didn't know me before, you now know me. So that's a good thing, hopefully.
Yeah, I was a good boy.
Oh, actually,
I promise you.
How does that make you feel?
Can we edit that?
Okay, you know what? Yeah.
Me 2 years ago.
I can do.
But no, to be fair, I'm probably the one in the room when I was a manager that was always asking the questions and always was very invested and always wanted to know what kind of went on around the decisions and why we work or move the directions we go. So now actually having a seat at the table with my peers in the corporate team, I am delighted to be able to have a voice. I'm delighted to be able to make some decisions. So what I would say, surprise is a lot of hard work, but I'm absolutely up for it. And I can't tell you what goes on behind closed doors.
Makes sense. I've not got anything else that I'd like to say. Does anyone else? No?
Nope.
Right,
No.
well,
Thank you.
I think does that deserve a round of applause while we've got the microphone going? Yeah, thanks everyone for listening. Thanks to all you lot for coming down as well.
It's been a pleasure.
Hopefully, we'll be doing the same again next month. I think this one went really well.
Hopefully with a camera as well.
Yeah. So you can see mine and Joe's lovely faces whenever you're on the podcast.
Not ours.
And Dave's, sorry.
Well done, guys. You were great.
Yeah.